Today's video. So Spencer, who's been coming to our events for a long time, has this KA24DET, and he's been driving it forever in our event series. And today it's the best looking car at the entire event. Thing is absolutely cool. And I was gonna come up with a title for this whole video. And the title, I was gonna call it From Zero to Hero. But then I was like, that's kind of condescending. It makes you sound like you were a zero before, which isn't true or anything like that. But no, just the whole point of this conversation, and you can take over in a second, is you had a car that was kind of done, and it was done for a long time, and it was at a finish point, and you really enjoyed it, and it was kind of your thing. It was a Zinky that was nicely painted, that was wide body, that had like a 600 horsepower KA, and it was done. Yeah. Now, this is a completely different animal, which your old car was really easy to maintain visually.
Right.
This is completely different. You've now created your own, one second. We're just shooting this, we're not gonna drift or anything. Is that cool? All right, this is take two. We're just gonna slide right back in. So, I was originally gonna call this Zero to Hero, like the story of how you had like, you know, a zero car, and then I was like, no, that's really mean, because like your old car, which is the same car, was really nice. And this car is, God, 15 years old or something at this point?
Yeah,
it's old. But you had a Zinky, it was really easy to take care of, you didn't go through body kits constantly, you lived a very simple life. And suddenly you have chosen to go to a very difficult life with a body kit that's probably with fenders $2,500 to $3,000, with the hood $4,000 or something. One wall tap can take all this off. You've got paint on top of it. Is it paint or wrap?
Wrapped.
Okay, wrap. So you're talking at least $4,500, I'm guessing, you know, to like rebody the car. So that is commitment.
I don't want to think about it.
It's not a metal hood anymore. It used to be on a metal Zinky hood, which used to be free. So it's a completely different lifestyle. So the whole point of this is there's a point at which you veer off from like what you were interested in before, and everything becomes, I guess, like different and committed. You know what I mean? Like you weren't gonna drive this like a missile car kind of thing. You didn't drive your car like a missile car before, but like there's gonna be no wall tapping. Somebody taps you like fielding, you are gonna be mad. So tell me why you did this, the thought process, what's the purpose? Talk about the body kit, talk about the car. Okay. Just talk about it.
So this car has always been, like you said, Zinky. I custom made the front fenders. Well, actually a buddy, Alex. We take stock metal fenders and graft them onto where it's like a 50 mil front over. So that was originally Alex's idea, and so we would just run stock fenders on the front, and they're just a riveted on piece. So that was pretty easy to get your hands on. These days it's not. I ran a stock hood with a custom-made aluminum vent that like fit really well, and I really liked that look. We had just a Zinky front with clear lenses, Gretty lip, kooky side skirts, and a cut rear bumper. And that car, we can send pictures of that car, but it's an excellent looking car. I still look back at pictures of that car from Grid Life and think, man, because it's painted my favorite color. Well, the roof is still painted that color. Most of it is under the wrap. But it's a black cherry pearl, so it was my favorite color. But the deal is, it was kind of like it was a simple car. I mean, it was like a
simple 600 horsepower car.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really reliable. But yeah, I mean, by most people's standards, it was a conservative looking car for a very long amount of time, and I maintained it that way, and it always looked good. There was no body damage on the car. Anytime something happened, I would repair it, and anyways. So then we skipped to this, which I don't really know where this came from. I really wanted an S15. So I was like, well, piecing together and figuring out how that's gonna happen in 4 or 5 years and how much that's gonna cost. And I said, well, I want to kit the car this year, which again, I don't really know where that came from. Just want a change of pace. Okay, so I wanted 2F, and they sell everything if you want to do the kooky conversion, but I don't want to do the kooky conversion because basically every car in Pro 2 or Pro Spec is a 2F kooky car, or even the guys that have run Pro-Am with a kooky 2F car, they're all the same. So and with me wanting an S15, I was like, I'll do the S15 front end. So really it's all 2F. It's their whole rear clamshell, fiberglass little shell of a trunk, their whole kit. This is a real Sabon hood that was, like Aaron said, it was like $1,000. Again, it was more or less like I needed a hood. I wanted a vented hood like this. Originally, I wanted an Origin Type 2, but you know how that is trying to get Origin parts right now. These are actually the Origin headlight blanks, so thank God I was able to get those, and I didn't put S15 lights on it because those are very expensive. And then the fenders. So I bought all these parts, and then I was like, hey, nobody makes fenders for this. The widest fender anyone makes for an S15, S14 conversion is a 30 mil, and that's Origin. And I tried to get those and maybe like figure out how to, you know, fiberglass and graft them. And I can't get them. I couldn't get my hands on them. I spoke with everyone in the States, and they're like 6 months out on getting those parts. So the really cool part about this whole process is I made my own fenders. They're 60 mil S14 to S15 conversion fenders. They're fiberglass, and I originally made the original plugs are steel, so I did the whole like graft the fenders first. Then we did the foam method with the Bondo to build up all the structure, and then made molds, and now I have molds to make these fenders again. So at least that's probably the one good thing out of this is, you know, I don't have to pay like $600 for front fenders. I can do it for about like $50. But yeah, and then when it comes to the wrap, this is actually inspired by one of my paintball guns, which is hilarious. I have a Planet Eclipse. Anyone that's into paintball will laugh at this, but I have a Planet Eclipse. I have a few guns from them, but they use this colorway, and one of them that I have has a carbon barrel. So this was kind of a take on one of my guns, actually. So I really wanted the purple and the teal, but like a little less Alec Honadell-ish. And then we built our own, so I'll show you this in a minute. We built our own basically lip valence kit to go on the bottom of the 2F all the way around the car. So it's got a splitter, and all this stuff is made out of aluminum composite, and then we wrapped that teal as well. So I love the way the car looks. I can definitely see side skirts being an issue, and hopefully the rear bumper not too much. Really, we'll just have to see. I mean, I'm coming from a stock bodied car, like with a urethane bumper. I mean, front and rear bumpers, you can literally beat them with a hammer and they won't have any body damage. So this is gonna be, yeah, like Aaron said, this is gonna be a more maintenance vehicle now, cosmetically. But I guess another thing about it too is the chassis has been so consistent and developed for literally like, I mean, I've been driving this car for 10, 12 years, same engine, same gearbox, you know what I mean? Same diff. So it's like, I just kind of was ready to basically spend some money on something else, because the car's not getting an engine swap, and I'm happy with everything that's on it. I mean, the ECU has been in the car like 10 years. It's a Haltech. It's like one of the original ones they make. So aside from updating like some safety stuff, and it's got a really nice aim dash in it, yeah, I mean, really there was nothing else to do to the car. But I wanted to stay interested in it and kind of do something new.
Okay. So the wing, does it make a difference drifting?
Yeah, it definitely does, high speed. So not here, definitely not at GGP, but TMS, for sure at TMS, and for sure I went to Grid Life, NOLA, and drifted the big track, and absolutely
How does
there.
it make things different? What specifically?
The car pushes. I mean, literally, this you're talking about a car that has never understeered in the life that I've owned it. I can't make it understeer. And this wing, like let's say high-speed corners at any track, the front end, basically you don't really feel the rear squat anymore, but basically the front end literally will just start pushing. So yeah. We took it off at NOLA. I was able to run it at TMS. I think because by the time you get into the sweeper, you're going slow enough to where the wing is not doing anything. You're doing like 45 through the sweeper, I think, at TMS. But definitely on the straight and transition at TMS, I'm full throttle now, which is which is pretty weird, where used to you'd have to lift on transition and then you get back on the throttle down the power alley. Well, now it's a full throttle transition through there, and the car has enough front grip to do it. So yeah, I'm excited about driving it at TMS again.
Next question. Were you ever a style-based guy? Because you didn't seem to ever be someone that was really concerned with style. You're just about race car parts and functionality and everything. You're starting to leave that with this car. Like, the car looks rad. Like, we said it's the coolest looking car at the event.
Yeah.
It's obviously a choice to do that. Is it something that you've wanted to do for a long time, or?
No, I've had the resources to do this and just chose not to. I have more projects and all kinds of stupid hobbies that I'm into. So I've had the resources and the money to do this, but I liked the car the way it was before. And like I said, we'll piece in a picture or two, but it was just easy. It had a higher ride height, you know, as far as like the body goes, the body clearance. And I come from a road racing background, so all the shops I've ever worked at have been road racing, and this is just kind of like, nobody really does this. We do aero, like legitimate aero, you know, legitimate diffusers, real splitters, flat bottom, stuff like that. So yeah, I've never really been against it. I'm against it if people have something like this and it's all haggard and they don't take care of it. Then I'm like, well, why didn't you just leave it, you know, like, why didn't you just leave it alone? But
you're like Aaron's cars.
well, you don't kid them. Well,
all my cars are kitted right now.
Still looks good. The S14 still looks good, but give them like another month and it won't.
No, it's too much effort. Okay, show us some details real quick and let's be done. Show us under the hood.
Well, let me go over a couple sponsors.
Oh, he's doing sponsor plugs.
Kraken Motorsports. These are all Fort Worth-based guys. Kraken does a bunch of JDM cars, and they're an import performance shop that specializes in Subarus. Datsun Tuning is a tuner that's a partner with Kraken that basically tunes anything, specializes in Subaru, but does any imports. And both these guys have really cool JDM cars. The owner of Kraken has a really cool GTR, and the owner of Datsun has a really cool JDM Evo. And then we have a animal rescue that we work with. They're really cool. They're Fort Worth based. That's Saving Hope. So those are the partners. We'll go over, so I like the hood design. We tried to do our own little V. We actually wrapped the car ourselves at the shop. I guess I couldn't afford or didn't want to pay the quote that I got to wrap it, so I bought all the materials and we wrapped it with basically no wasted material. So it's easier than you think, people, if you want to wrap your car. So this has basically been the same for a very long time. The intercooler and radiator are pushed very far back. I don't know if you can see this, but the bash bar is right here. And this is a custom intercooler that I made, and this is like just a basic Griffin dirt track radiator that you get from Summit for no money. If you look at this, the radiator is actually smaller than the factory one. I mean, look how narrow it is. And I just run one 14-inch fan on it. So, and the car does really good. I do run a coolant surge tank. I've been running that forever, which just takes like your normal high spots. It runs a really nice Peterson catch can. The car still has a lot of condensation from E85, so it's got this quick release drain to drain the catch can. We just put a little bucket under there. I got rid of, I had a Chase Bays power steering system in here, and had nothing but problems with it forever. And apparently I'm the only one that didn't know that they're garbage. So I just bought a KRC reservoir a couple weeks ago, and we've had no issues with it. I know not much of this looks like KA because I've seen it so much, but it uses the stock distributor for cam angle sensor. It fires Honda K-Series, F-Series coil packs. I run a radium fuel rail, very nice fuel rail with ID 1700Xs for E85. Fuel suspension, it's still on like a very, very basic manual boost controller, like a $50 boost controller. There's very little extra electronics on this car, I think. So it's a BorgWarner 257 SXE. This is like a magic little turbo that's like about a 3076 size. That costs nothing. I think they cost like $600 or $700, and it's actually been really bulletproof. But yeah, I make the manifold. I make a adapter plate to run this throttle body because the stock ones have boost leaks. And other than that, I mean, it's just kind of optimized to what I've found I needed over the years. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, basic tube front, which the car didn't have that for a long time, up until a couple years ago. Yeah.
Super cool. I love it. Great driving today. We'll insert some video so everybody can see.
Yeah, get a shot of the interior side.
Anything cool in there?
Definitely the aim dash. I love that. So fun fact is this car runs on no relays at all. The 5 or 6 fuses that you see right there in the center run the whole car. I mean, some people say that's wrong, but it's pretty easy to figure out. You just run the, you ground each system at the chassis wherever it's located, and then you just run the power wire through the switch for that system, whatever it is. And then you just need a switch that's capable of whatever amperage that you're running. So like I said, there's very little electronics on here, just fuses. And yeah, still runs stock fuel tank. I made a little billet hat for the fuel tank so I can run AN lines to it, but yeah, stock fuel tank.
There we go then.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Boom. All right, let's go drive.
Patty's gonna clutch it. Get there on the same grid.
Hi everybody, I want to say thank you for watching the video, and here is all the dates for Drift Week 3 out in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to be out on multiple, I think 4 public dates. You can probably see them over here, and we're going to be drifting, doing ride-alongs, entertaining you guys, driving across the country, having people walk behind me. I'll see you there. Bye.